Howdy.
Morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Good morning. Thank you, everybody who's here. We're just going to launch right into the Ministry of Magic, and apparently I have a slightly dirty plate. That's okay. So this is actually the backside of cutting mat, and so sometimes stuff sticks to it, and I need to wipe it down. But it's got a weird texture feel to it. In any case, this morning is all about Lego and needing coffee. All right. So we're starting. Let's get this out of the way. Starting bag 5 this morning. So let me just dig into the box and get that one. Oh, Geekouts in a bad spot. Okay, let me just move these two on screen briefly. Okay, what we've built so far, and while I pull out the next bag, and then we will pull them off screen because they're in the way. You know, not like those. And I'm showing far too much at the top. There we go. That's better. All right. So we're on to bag 5. I'll put your party music. 4 drummers. Well, I've got 3. I was thinking Phil Collins, Pete Best, and Richard Starkey, aka Ringo Starr. No, I don't get bonus points for knowing his name. Oops. I mean, one more drummer. I'd love to say, that guy from, but that doesn't help because, everybody's got that guy from or whatever, because that's the way the drumming questions go. Right, so this is the one of the towers in the set. So we've got, it starts out with a blue powder fireplace at the bottom. Then in the center, I'm going to flip over. In the center we have got what appears to be, I'm going to assume a courtroom. You've got your court reporter seat at the bottom. And then we've got the judge's seat in the center. And then up top we have Umbridge's office. Then in the next section, to clear the table, we've got piping and a whole bunch of stacks of wanted posters for undesirable number 1, Harry Potter. Morning, Tom. Yes, next bag of 10,000 parts. No, not quite. So, there's those 2 sections. The only other major chunks we've built so far, we have a telephone booth. Yep, that's it. Telephone booth with just a receiver handle. I'm not quite sure. It's very much like modern telephone booths, where that's the only part that's left, or sometimes it's the central section, because places just didn't reno them out entirely. The other piece we built was a fountain that goes down the center section. So this is a fountain from the Ministry of Magic, little frogs and stuff at the bottom. It's pretty cool. All right. Deca Thousands. Yeah, probably. I bet you some of the others we watched too would as well, like Brixie or Local. I mean, Locals is kind of unfair to say that type of count because Local Brick Shop, of course, quite literally runs a brick shop, which is not local enough for me to shop at. It's 2 hours time zone away, well over that in distance from drive. Alright, so we're into another one of the sections. It's going to be one of the mid sections. And as usual, I'm not going to do a whole lot of sorting. I'm really discovering that as much as I love little trays, it's great for when I have to move things around. When I'm just doing things where I'm going to be doing the entire bag, then there's no point in traying things. Okay, there. Now I can find the pieces. That's good. Make sure we have enough space to build. This one. Put that pile over there. Good to see you, Tom. Thank you very much for the thoughts today. That was appreciated. My watch said I went to bed at a good time in terms of that's what it said on the watch when I went to bed. However, I did the math on the way down the stairs, and I had fallen asleep on the couch apparently.
Hello?
And then when I got up, I guess the watch decided that I had just gone to the washroom or something, because apparently I got up and I hit AFK, log in, and then I went off to bed for real, and I guess whatever that was, all the little micro sleep depths over the course of the week decided that they were going to come and play havoc with me today. So, I fell asleep. Yeah. I'm just being honest. So it looks like we have ourselves a Dementor. I've got one Dementor from another set. He's not easily handy. But I will show you this one as we get it once we get it put together. It's kind of a weird build. 2, 3... Need a head. Where did the head go? I saw it. This thing. Okay, we're going to attempt bait today and actually try and show you close-ups on these pieces. Dementors don't have backs of heads, so I'm just going to leave the hood on. They're doing it as a hood, whereas in the books and movies, it would have been a full covering hood. So we'll see how well this works. But they have a wispy bottom, so they've got a really wispy piece. Let's see if I can get it to fit. Oh, I guess I need a cape. That would be useful. You know, if I follow the instructions. I built these before, and so I just charged ahead. Good morning to good morning, Mike Burton. Good to see you. Apparently, you're more conversationally with it than I am. Oh, there. Okay, we've got a cape with holes in it. I'm not sure why the holes. That doesn't make sense, but better than a lawn ornament with holes. If you got that reference, you're a parent, and you're about as old as I am. There you go. Alright. I don't know what we've got for music. I may have to change it. This is a little bit difficult to stream over top of. It was a dance workout, so let's try... I'm going to go backwards a little bit. Epidemic.
Greetings.
The system says greetings to everybody and everything. Okay, I think... Let's find something else. You know what? Let's see what Indie Pop does today. Okay. So we've got ourselves a Dementor. So as I said, he's got the cape in the back with the holes. Lighting is a little evil today. So we've got, you'll see, here, I'll pull the hood off this one. They've got some face creases along the sides, but there's definitely a white section in the center representing a mouth, and the mouth is where they would do big suck for the Dementor's kiss. And then they've got almost like a ribby, a little bit of it in the light there, the ribby design on the chest. It's sort of odd. It's like you can see their insides, which is not necessarily accurate, but I can kind of see what they're doing. They made them very drawn types of characters that they almost imply that the person used to be alive, which is not necessarily the case. Dementors, I believe, are magically conjured, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so they're the prison guards most of the time, except they end up working for the dark side and wanting to be, or they Ministry of Magic order that they be put around the Hogwarts castle. Of course, ostensibly to protect any net badness from getting in, but truth is it was to protect anybody. It was to protect the outside world from anything at Hogwarts getting out, including Dumbledore, which is kind of stupid because he's the only one who's got an operating license. Alright, so, to get out. So, you got the wispy bottom end and stuff, and they've done it as a clear piece with that was like shot with black to the center. So it's kind of interesting. But from certain angles, it looks a little bit like a mermaid's tail, and now that I've seen it, I can't unsee that. Alright, so I'll set that to the side. It doesn't have any major accessories. let's just take a second to put the wispy whatever it is they're giving him in his hand. So we've got a smoky gray cone that it's putting on a white grippable stud. Or not, sorry, a clear grippable stud. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to represent because they don't actually shoot any magic or yeah, they don't shoot any magic, I guess. The only way I could think of to put it. It looks like it's got... Oh, there's two of them. There's two different grippy things here. There's one. There it is. Okay, so there's... Nope, there's two of them. I'm going to put it in backwards. The picture is showing the cone section coming out the other direction from the grip piece. I just don't know how to make that work. So we may return to that piece along the way if I figure out what they were really getting at. Okay, Indie's not working for me. Sorry. Let's see, what do we got? Not rap. Not vocal, that's kind of silly. Try this one. Oh, that's relaxing. Oh well. It's relaxing, cozy guitar, apparently. We'll go with it for a little bit. Come on. Enter. There we go. So yeah, he's got... I'm not entirely sure why that is. That's okay. We shall move on. Alright. So first piece, we're starting with another section, breaking another one of the offices. Two sections there. We've got a green connector section with, I'll line up, with a brown square. I think we've read enough of the Geek Out on drummers, so let's switch it. We are into 4 films that had music scored by Danny Elfman. Films, not TV series, films. It shouldn't be too bad, because our house at least has, pardon me, quite a few Danny Elfman films that we like to watch. I can go with it. I don't think I can 4 off the top of my head, though. Maybe? Maybe? But my guess... Yeah, 4 Danny Elfman films, actually. I'll give you a bit of a hint where my head was going, at least, is that Danny Elfman was very often scoring music in film for Tim Burton. Not always, not exclusively, but that's what comes to mind for me most. The work from home Friday for Fox today, so thankfully he doesn't have to deal with the traffic. Our city's been kind of crazy. Probably a combination of cranky people because it's been hot, people who don't like the fire smoke that's coming in from all over the place, and nobody really likes long commutes anyways. There's probably the odd person that does not, or sorry, that takes transit and chose to drive because transit was way overcrowded this week, hot, etc. So yeah, it's been a bit unpleasant on the roads. So I'm kind of glad the fantastic Sherlock Fox is working from home this week. Good to have him not in long meetings for a day. Okay, follow the instructions. So that one uses a light gray tubing. There we go. I love the title of this one. It's the artist is called Def Lev, Deflev. The album apparently is called Data Rock, Rawk, and the song is quite bluntly, called Hip Hop Rock Song. Okay. Hip Hop Rock Song. What an interesting title. Okay. I was about to make a mistake. So we've got another set of handles coming in, it looks like, or at least on one side. So on the second one, I've got black with black. This one. Oh, I keep guessing wrong. Black Technic pin with the twist. And then I put the gray bit on, which is going to rotate. Okay. Got it correctly. And then I've got a handle piece. This little... I've got a Technic pin across to one side, and then the Technic socket, I guess you could say, on the other end. It looks like it needs to be perpendicular to black. Okay, so far so good. And on the end of that pin, we've got another one of those smoky cones. A blue jewel on the end. I do like how they're decorating handles for action parts. That's kind of neat. And that whole unit there. I think that looks about right. Alright, next. Got this one. Crosswise in the center, alright. Those sit down on top so the handle comes up. It's not quite perpendicular, maybe they want it out a little bit. Wow. They have an appropriate title for this one. It's called Brutal Boogie Boy. I like guitar as much as the next person, but that was an interesting transition. Okay, so we've got two... Where's the other one? We got platform sorts going on. So now there's enough weight to hold it up for a bit. Alright, and then we're back into the pillars for the office. Two black, two green. I'm getting quiet. Sorry, I apologize for that. Accidental. No, there's not as much to like super hyper focus on a Friday, but somehow I'm finding a way to do it. All right, what have we got going on? Make sure I finished 136 properly. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Move the windows out of the way. All right, now I've got edge with a the wedge with a blue stud. It's got a hole, and what was in the hole? A light blue gem. I do not see a light blue gem, so we're just going to go with another blue, whatever they had. Probably the same. Oh, it's just, yeah, just blue. Okay. And then two little green, little green cubes. I will say, without all the trays, it is a smidge quieter. That section, turn it so there's two little stud holes, and they sit right down in here. pillar would match off. Alright, what are we doing on the other side? Oh, not yet. Alright, I'm doing the top. Across the center. I love that they've got a guitar essentials list, so I'm enjoying that. But some of the transitions could use a bit of work. Okay, this one's Jaroque, from the artist, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, Sugoi, I believe. And I believe they're not from North America. I'm amused because their bio says, or starts out, that they're another alien strolling the earth, but they enjoy ramen, good coffee, manga, and jazz music. Alright. Their album cover is definitely like an anime ninja-ish type dress with a rabbit mask? Okay. And it says Gone Fly. I'm like, sure. It's Friday. Why not? Why not? It's something we haven't listened to for a while, and actually isn't that bad. Alright, let's see. Oh, and one more across the top. If I put peace on. Oh. Correct. Come on. There we go. That design is very similar, like a lot of the offices. Now we're into windows with a lot of paper things. Okay. Looks like the Daily Profit office. I'm going to try and show this one. Oh, maybe not. So we've got a picture with some text on the top. Bottom bit right my finger, if I rotate it around, says sport, and weirdly it shows something that looks kind of like either
welcome
a football or a rugby ball. I'm going to bet on a football. It's got lacing down the front. And then on this bottom corner it says new, N-E-W, so like news. So it's definitely I would have to say, in the Wizarding World, that would be a reuse print, because it makes no sense to have sports involving footballs in the Wizarding World. Good morning, Mama Bear. How are you? Thank you for coming to find me on a Friday. I appreciate that very much. That one, and this one's upside down on purpose. Hopefully you are doing well. I got a bit of away from keyboarding last night. Because I overslept this morning, my original plan had been to simply fire up one of like my old laptop, or we've got a myriad of other devices that I could use to simply fire one up and have it do some away from keyboard stuff in the Java server while I was doing this stream. But organization all fell apart this morning, so yeah. It's Friday, it's all good. We're just assembling a window section that looks like it belongs to a news office. The disadvantage being that they have a, I don't know if anachronistic would be the word, out of world reference. So, yeah, they have like a football picture on there. And I'm sorry, American football. Let me correct that. This is the season for me to pay attention correctly. The Olympics have started, on that sport note, and understandably I'll be cheering for Canada, although usually when there aren't Canadians in the competition at that point, then I will be pro-US all the way, though on occasion I prefer the UK when there's no Canadians involved, at least not in the meddling levels. So after stream, my plan is to roll back. Oh, we actually have a regular window in one of these. Let's throw this one in. Upside down, right there. So after stream, my plan is to find one of these channels that does delayed simulcast, if that makes any sense. So basically, one of the channels that will show me the opening ceremonies, but where I can start from the beginning, even though it's not officially over yet. One of the few things I liked about about TV is if you were letting the TV run on cable and you had like one of the digital video recorders, so the DVRs, if you had a DVR, then you could actually, you had to start the show at the start. So it had to be able to have something playing to buffer. But after that point, if you needed to, you could let it buffer while you're doing something, then come back, roll back to the start and watch it without necessarily having to outright record it. Or you could just record it as you go, and then you could play back your recording while it was busy recording the rest of the program. So I missed that, but streaming services often have similar abilities. And so I'm going to be hopefully finding the opening ceremonies and watching that. If I can't find one that's doing it in a delayed format like that, then I will probably try and figure out how long it's supposed to run and then watch it after that point. Oh, no, I pick up the... Oh, no, they're the same. Okay. Because I picked up the wrong one, but I just can't hold things today. Yeah, I really enjoy watching the Olympics. Family's on the way over. We will need to lurk in a few minutes. Sure, that's fine. Yep. Enjoy your weekend if you know, when you need to disappear. That's okay. Totally cool. I missed you this morning because yesterday you were so Johnny on the spot helping out that when I had a voluntary person show up and try to sell me stuff today, I did manage to jump on it, but I missed your enthusiasm. It made me smile yesterday when you and I raced for it. That's okay, we got him. Basically, the system said hello. Sorry, let me correct that. Oswin used his manners to say hello, and that was not what was required, so I didn't even bother with saying goodbye. I just hit the goodbye button. It's like Graham Norton and his couch lever to dump people out of the big red chair. That's okay. You had real life, and frankly, I really should do that myself once in a blue moon, just because if something came up at some point and I legitimately had either a completely surprise out of band stream or for honest to goodness, people actually have a life, you know, and I ended up for some reason with no mods, which is perfectly allowable, but I should be able to handle some of that. Particularly when I'm not doing something in Minecraft that could have mobs in my face. I really should keep up that skill. Technically, I'm a mod for one channel. Technically. But 90% of the time, there's somebody else there who does just about everything. So I tend to ban bots, and that's about it. And the reason I say technically I'm a mod is because that person and I stream so close together that frequently I either can't attend or they or we miss each other, kind of like two ships passing in the wind. In the night. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I was in the middle of counting red bits for this tubing section. The old word didn't work. That's all you know how to do. That's okay. That's totally okay. You know, people don't have to do... Well, that's not all you know how to do, actually. That's all that requires buttons. I mean, you know how to run a lot of the exclamation point commands, and that didn't take too much. And you also do things that are very important. Both you and Fox have a skill I don't yet. I try. But being able to strike up and or keep a conversation going, help keep me chatting, help keep things interesting, and a few other little bits and bobs. You know, when things are quiet, you guys know about running things, and so running things, as in either triggering an eco change or running a hill champ or whatever. You guys are both here enough that even if you forgot the mod command for it, you guys have enough points that you can do it other ways. So that's a skill I don't necessarily have. I sit in other streams, and when things get quiet, usually I do too, which doesn't help anybody. There you go. See? I also am not a fan of the way that Twitch has split up the mod abilities. I'd love to have a bit more granularity into what I can have my mods do. There's two real modding categories, for those of you that aren't aware. One is called, quite literally, just mod. And then there is editor. And editor doesn't just add the ability to, I think that's where raids come in, but it also adds the ability for people to edit the material in terms of changing titles and topics and so on. Like those sorts of pieces, which is fine in a stream, but then the editor quite literally has the ability to decide what's published, what's not published. A few other little behind the scenes things that I would love to say, okay, yes, you can change some of these things, but no, you can't suddenly, not that you personally would, but that somebody can't suddenly say, have a fight with their mod and have the mod go and delete all their VODs or videos on demand. Like, that is something I would like to have more granularity on, so that only I have control over that element, but that on the fly, people can change up the titles. I mean, sometimes when I'm tired, we get a really boring, really business-like title, you know? And there are days where the content of the title is probably better off being something other than dead, frank honesty. As in, yesterday was more of a doing doors. Okay, got the doors. Right, we did that. We shall squirrel to high heaven. I mean, that's very, very honest. Not necessarily attractive to new viewers, nor funny. You know, so there's things like that where it's like, it's helpful to have somebody else who's in the mood catch me on that. It would be scary, but I mean, there's times where things like this. So on a Monday, we one time, I think it was Monday, maybe it was Tuesday. Anyways, early in the new week, after a LEGO stream, I had caught the title, I had caught the go live message, but I missed changing the little flag or the setting for what type of content I was doing. So whether it be Minecraft or makers and crafting or something. And it still had it on makers and crafting. And a very polite person from that type of community who preferred the makers and crafting stuff popped into stream and just said that, well, that it wasn't a good idea to have a miscategorized stream. And just pointed out that, one, it doesn't help. I mean, that's a kind of an obvious thing, but the polite part that they were trying to get at is that some of the people who are in category I was misusing at that point would not be too pleased to have somebody doing Minecraft, I guess, categorizing as their category. So it's nice to be able to have editors in chat who kind of go, oh, I can catch that and fix it for you. You know, or they see that mistake happen. And that's the biggest one I've got is I catch the title and I catch the go live, but I forget the category. Yeah, she was very polite. She was not rude, but it's one of those ones that I think about from time to time. Okay, so we're starting to have the interior looking decent. Let's see. Yeah, I was thinking about how to change the lighting here so that you could see a bit better. But we've got some definition problems, so I'm not sure how to do that. So there. I let things glare off because otherwise I'm not sure how to show you guys the interior at the moment. Okay, so we've got a weird... This is actually one piece. I could see how they might be able to build it out of other pieces and didn't, and I'm not quite sure why a separate piece was molded. So maybe it's because of the top fin section having 4 studs on it. Maybe? I don't know. I bet you it's probably a reuse from another set. Frequently that's what the, not just the people at the official LEGO shops, or sorry, LEGO master builders do. They don't like designing new parts if they don't have to, because it makes it cheaper to create the item and more likely to get the guys up, probably the bosses up the chain to say yes to their design if they make use of parts that already exist. But this one, I don't get it, because I've seen the domes before. Obviously, you have stud and flame we've seen before. Flame's just a different color. It's fine. It's like if I was doing Minecraft this little blue flame would be perfect for doing soul flame stuff. Anyway, but this stand, we've got a base I could see, like the ones we've been using, circular with a stud in the center. The center section could be one of those, either the lightsaber centers they used with Star Wars, or it could be one of the more telescope-shaped pieces. And then the bottom base could be, I've seen slightly curved dome ones instead of flat with the studs in the back, but they don't usually have a pin on the top to stick to. Or I've seen like dome-shaped ones with pins they don't actually have pins on them because it goes the other way. So maybe that's the reasoning. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a bit of an odd piece. Yeah, so anyways, it's great to have people able to be here when they're here, but I should also do my best to keep my skills up, because a lot of them... there are some very good streamers that are very good at keeping the content rolling while continuing their mods just make things happen. And then there are other streamers that are big enough they don't have time for that. And it's been quite a long time since they've actually controlled their own stream. 2, 3, 4, I suppose. Okay, and then we've got tubing going the other way. 1. I like this one. It's nice and chill. It's also easy to talk over. But this particular song has hints of other songs in it, so I keep waiting for bits that aren't going to be there because it's not the same song. So this one is called First Glimpse of You, from an album of the same title, and the song is by the artist Victor Lundberg. Singer, songwriter, and producer, originally from Sweden. It's cool. That's another one of those ones, I mean, not just in copyright infringement, supposedly free, not just in that category, but in a lot of other things. I don't usually get the opportunity to listen to great international artists. It's not something that comes up on my radar all that often. So I get a kick out of streams like, we've got Creef that streams in our community, and I love his streams partly because they introduce me every once in a while to artists that I had no clue existed, and that's really pleasant. It's funny because there's so many Canadian groups that if they hit it big enough, people don't realize they're Canadian, they just assume they're American. But there's also a bunch of even American groups that are pretty big, or Canadian groups that are pretty big, that get lost in the shuffle because we just don't get the opportunity to listen to them. It's like a lot of areas. There's just far too much creativity for anybody to view and or consume at one sitting. Right. I'm not gonna like that. Give me a second. Talked about it before. I don't like having the injection point visible on my Lego. There we go. Oh, injection molding point. Switch it around. Ooh! Added to my Spotify. Yeah! Actually, that's a very good thought. Do I have added to liked songs? There we go. Excellent suggestion. I do have to be careful looking at the play through every once in a while. There's a lot of music, as I've complained multiple times in Discord and elsewhere. I'm getting a lot of copyright claims lately, even though I'm paying for a service where that's not the case. And I really should fight them, but sometimes I just can't be bothered because A, my YouTube is not monetized, and B, Twitch makes it fairly easy to complain about it, even if they don't do anything about it. But understandably, there are artists that do some music for services like Epidemic Sound that also do music that is copyrighted. so I do have to look up the copyright claimed material and see if it appears in the Epidemic Sound catalog. And then Twitch offers you an opportunity to say, no, the item you claimed is not actually in my video. Unfortunately, YouTube does not have the same opportunity. They actually want you to explain a whole lot of things, and they just don't have that opportunity. So really, closest thing you can get for an excuse is this music I have the full rights to use. Well, it's like, no, I don't have full rights to use what you claimed I'm using. I'm not actually using what you claimed it, but it's not one of their options, the little radio buttons or checkboxes or whatever. So every time I have to go in, I haven't written myself a form letter. That's a I really should do element. But every time there's always a need to go in and explain. Yeah, form letter would be nice. You know, that's a coffeeed up, focused up, meted up Dylan planning something and actually planning and doing are two different things. Okay, so this, I don't really understand why they need to tip. What the point is of being able to do that? I guess it looks cool, maybe? Not sure. To-do list, ha ha ha. Yeah! Okay. So I do care about those things, but the weirdest one I had lately was one that said, viewing has been restricted in certain regions. Excuse me, what now? Okay, I clearly missed something because there's a few bits. Maybe I didn't? There's a few bits that I don't remember using on this run. Maybe I missed using them at all? Oh. Okay, I think I know what I did. There are some legit spares. I didn't actually miss anything. I see. Okay, so what I did, there's usually there's only one spare, but I can understand why there's two of the little gray things. There's two bits that answer my question. So on on the thing that the Dementor was supposed to hold, I was saying I couldn't figure out why the tubing was backwards, because really I didn't see it, but there's a clear piece of little micro tip on the front, like a stud thing, and it's supposed to go in between. Then that will get the tube thing to turn around. Okay, that works. Doesn't explain anything about why it's there, but it works. So Roy Edwin Williams is doing a song aptly called Psycho Billy. All right. Next up will be a song I think they call Girl in Black. So this one's Psycho Billy from Denim and Leather. That just sounds weird. I'm not going to think about that one too hard. Okay. These go to the side, and we're on a new bag. Bag 6 of 7. That's 7. There. Right. So Geek Out has rolled. Pop Culture Party. Music to name 4 songs by Pink Floyd. Yeah, Another Brick in the Wall is what most people think of. It's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, though. As we've talked about multiple times, I'm one of the people that does not generally remember guess we're into surf guitar. Like post 60s. Okay. Anyway, I'm not one that remembers artists and titles all that well. There's some that I remember purely because I just hear it, and hear it, and hear it. Oh yeah, totally, we're going to finish this one today. Because based on my usual stream time, not the I'm late time, we usually do about another hour and 45 minutes, and we made that bag in under an hour, easy. So we've got... This isn't the Ron Weasley, this is, I'm not sure yet. I might even have to check the box. I'm trying to see if I can guess. See, it looks like it's another one of the Weasley family. Very drawn expression. They're going to give him a smile. Actually, no, maybe not. We've got a very messed up industry, so I'm going to give him the front. Really, it's not much to show. Just a couple of, like, you're not missing anything. What you see is quite literally what's on there. There's a few, if you're looking at close, there's a few very tired eyes type wrinkles. That might be Arthur Weasley then. Given us a Ron hair, so it's probably Arthur Weasley in that case then. Let me double check the box. I give him legs. Legs could be important. Come on. You don't need a wand. Pull that aside. There's legs. 1, 2, 3. And it looks like they're giving him a briefcase with a printed something inside. Printed circles. Okay. Printed circles. Usually they're tiny. That's interesting. We have a... let's see. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is kind of challenging to show. It's a bee. Yes, I know it's blurry. But it's a bee. So why we have a bee in a briefcase, I'm not sure. I mean, they could be referencing Newt Scamander, so I really need to look this up. That's going to bug me. I will give him his briefcase, though. So you can have your briefcase. There you go. And I will not give him a wand, because as we discussed, I lose them. Let's see, who is that? Arthur Weasley, although I'm not sure why he would have put a bee in a suitcase. He's part of the misuse of Muggle artifacts department. Maybe somebody managed to bewitch the bee to, like, I don't know, breathe fire or something? Weird. Okay, well, we'll set him aside for now. I did call it correctly, with the tired eyes and all. Alright, let's roll. So we're building yet another office section, as you can see. Does not tell us what this one is for, so I guess the only thing we have is to build it and find out. Let's turn on this. Excuse my reach. There we go. Lighting is kind of weird today. I don't know. It's got what's gotten itself into the lights. Oops, excuse me, reach in front of the camera again. Okay, it's better. Better for me anyways. Alright. I say alright a lot. If you turn the alrights into a water drinking game, you'll be probably in the washroom fairly quickly. Be right back? No, if Mama Bear actually has to go, that's totally okay. She's got things to do, places to be, people to visit with. So, she needs to adult. That just sounds wrong, but she has adulting that needs to get done. Whether she wants to do it or not is kind of irrelevant. So we've seen this piece multiple times before. One of the things I do like about the repetitiveness of this, though, is if I wanted to change up the module and do something different with it, then I have plenty of opportunities to do so. Something about that isn't sitting quite right. Okay. Oh, there's the other one. This one I do like as well. Los Principales del Flamenco. Apologies for my absolutely horrid Spanish. I've never had to work with people that actually spoke it, and who didn't prefer to speak English. Let me correct that. Then there's Fantastic Sherlock Fox has had to work with people who spoke Spanish. I got mine. I got the little bit that I have from A. These people who speak English and are very tolerant of bad attempts to speak Spanish, or B. Good old cheesy episodes of Sesame Street. Yes, you heard that right. I think we mentioned this once or twice on the channel before, but there's actually a Canadian version. And at one time, it did not have its own title. It used to be just Sesame Street in both regions. Even the Canadian one, I think there might be an episode or two where they called it Sesame Street, even though it had Canadian flair and a couple of Canadian characters on there. But the Canadian show very quickly got its own Sesame Park, and it's very similar to the American one. But, of course, the song changes the lyric. They obviously paid for the rights for that. And the song changes the lyric, and the major characters, I mean, you get a lot of the same ones everybody's comfortable with in Sesame Street. But the song, the characters don't speak Spanish. You know, that's not a thing up here. They speak French. So as in, they do have some of the Spanish-speaking characters, I guess, kicking around. But they also have had an otter and a polar bear. We've talked about this a little bit before, I'm sure. I'm sounding like I'm going around in circles, or at least my head's giving me alarm bells on that front. But yeah, so the otter spoke French. The polar bear sadly did not. And frequently that was a point of contention between the two. But yeah, so my Spanish is horribly bad because we just don't get a lot of that up here. I mean, day-to-day hearing of it, quote unquote, on the streets, is probably increased a little bit by immigration changes over the years, in terms of who migrates where and why. And that gets verging into politics, so I'm not going to go too far, but just to say that you hear more of it on the streets than you used to. And some preschools are offering instruction in Spanish. So there is actually Spanish immersion programs available, which I find kind of an interesting twist. But I think it's just more that sometimes I think Spanish is actually more internationally used than French, and then I get a very polite tap and correction. But it's not. But it is interesting to see that when you see maps of the spread of where various languages come from, which various languages are being used where, and I don't mean in specific dialects, I mean as in major base languages. So a form of Spanish is used in a lot of the planet. A lot of the world. But I mean French, well, not French, sorry. Romance language bases, which are based off of Latin, usually, which ended up with, we've got Italian, we've got Spanish, and French is a root off that as well. So we've got those ones. That's a fairly large group. Geek out. Germanic. Two famous DJs aside from David Turner. Because David Turner will always be number one. So anyhow, it's just interesting to see the maps of where the various languages spread. And sometimes you can tell about the spread of a language partly related to the country's national politics, but it's also neat to see over historic usage how things spread. So I have at times wondered, in one of those like mental what if scenarios, what would the world's language be like if, say, for example, the Scandinavians, or who became the Scandinavians, I guess you could say, the more Viking-rooted, exploratory Laplanders, I guess? I'm trying to figure out the right term for that. But anyways, if they actually hadn't gone exploring and taking over or moving as far as they did, like what would English be like? What would German be like from that region? It does make me wonder. So, 2 famous DJs. Avicii, okay, I can follow that. And Brian Trenso, BT, okay. Instead of DT, David Turner. You've also got... Oh, this is guitar, interesting. Also got... This DJ Jazzy Jeff. I guess, yeah. Yeah. It's true. I think about it. And some of the artists that became vocal artists, particularly in the rap scene, I do wonder if they were DJs first. Famous DJ. What's his name? Fantasy Sherlock Fox and a few others might get it if I said Johnny Fever. Although, that may or may not count, depending on your point of view. Just as famous. Doesn't have to say real. But yes, one of my favorite DJs that doesn't really exist would be Johnny from the old TV sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. 2 times that one. Okay. Wow. Okay, I love jazz, and I love this song, but it really does remind me very, very heavily of the closing music of the Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood that I grew up with. So in my head, I've actually got images going by of panning a model town, like as in a little scale model town, and having people talking on PBS about things brought to you by such and such foundations and the Council for the blah 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 arts or something, and viewers like you. It really, really does remind me of that. Partly, I think it was brought to mind by the fact that last night we watched, YouTube, we watched a show by a guy who calls his channel Technology Connections. I can't remember what his name is. I think he did say at one point. But anyway, in with his video towards the end, he was talking about his Patreon people that have actually allowed him to do this full time without any sponsorship. So that's one of the other reasons I like the channel, is they explain things, but they don't have to have it brought to you by a particular sponsor. And he says he doesn't usually talk about his Patreon people, and he was doing it last night to say thank you. But anyway, the point to that part was towards the end, he was saying, such and such, and viewers, wait a minute, is this PBS? And then he just stopped. So he's a bit of a sarcastic guy. It really does make it feel like one of those PBS ads at the end. Okay, more onto the red tubing. We know this bit. Wow, that's an interesting twist. So now we're into an album called The Fly Guy 5. I'm assuming that they're thinking the song is pretty fly. I don't know. But anyway, the song itself is called Rodeo Rookie. Now, that's actually somewhat appropriate. Not that I'm totally into country or anything, but somewhat appropriate because earlier this month, I live in Calgary, and yes, that's one of those TMI pieces, but I mean, with enough population, you wouldn't find me. But we have every year I guess you'd call it the local fair, but they market themselves as the biggest or the greatest outdoor show on earth. The greatest outdoor show on earth is the key, which is mildly funny considering how much it is semi-indoors, but anyway. And it's all themed Western. Supposed to be, because originally it was basically rodeos, and we call it a 4-H show, but like a, what do you call it? Skills, and as in Western related skills, and livestock show off, and so on and so forth. Yeah, Stampede is huge. The Calgary Stampede is really huge. It's actually one of the largest non-Olympic events on the planet. And this year, I guess we hit records in terms of attendance, which is impressive to me because not only did they have a heat wave, which can be unsafe, but also that we were just coming off of the worst of water restrictions due to a feeder main from our treatment center having burst. And the update on that, for those of you that are not aware, we're back down to, that gave us a level 4 outdoor water restriction, which is basically an outdoor watering ban. And then indoor water restrictions were voluntary. They didn't want to make them mandatory because that's really difficult to police, I suppose. But this year they actually did have a stampede, and from what I understand, there were not any major restriction items put in. I was wondering if people would go, because when it's hot and there's water restrictions, in the past, what the city has done is they end up with additional watering trucks and stuff being rented by the facility, the grounds and so forth. And sorry, it feels like this pen isn't on solidly. So what they do is they end up with watering trucks, and overnight, post closing of the grounds, which is, I kid you not, like in the wee hours of the morning, they'll actually come through the grounds with a watering truck and hose down the pavement and as much of the buildings and stuff as they can. Sort of like when you want to reduce dust in a construction site, but they do that just to try and cool the place. Stampede money probably pays for all the repairs. Funny you should say that. It kind of doesn't. But there are plenty of other things that it does do. So even though it's actually only 10 days long, the Stampede actually does have a lot of other things. It's not just Western thing for 10 days and then we're done. It gives reason for the usage of our sports arena, which won't stay for too long, but anyways, sports arena and other convention center stuff that's on the grounds to exist. And so they then become a big venue for conferences and stuff. Like we now have what they call the BMO Center, built in, well, I don't say built, but sponsored and stuff by the Bank of Montreal. So that's actually a very, very large conference center used for lots of things all year round. But also our sports center is used for, is used for concerts and such. So that's a big one. There actually is a horse racing track down there, which is used as the rodeo grounds during the Stampede period. But during other parts of the year, it is definitely a lucrative horse racing track. I believe there's a casino on site, which they're very careful not to let minors into, and that still operates right through the Olympics. So yeah, there's definitely people I've heard that are like, I'm going to go hang at the casino while the rest of their family enjoys the Stampede grounds, because they're just, that's their kind of family. Yeah. Okay, we're on the inside now. But it's an interesting excuse for the city to pretend we're all Western, and that's part of how we keep perpetuating the image of being a cow town. And there's all kinds of silly pronunciations like Calgary. But I mean, I have no problem being proud of Western heritage and all that, but this thing is grown to be a very large midway. It's got a very large, what do you call it? A merchant isn't the word. My brain's in Minecraft mode, can you tell? A very large shopping zone. So all of the is it all, but a lot of the like as seen on TV type of stuff gets hawked at the Stampede, as well as you could buy, cheesy t-shirts and play Midway games, so you get people wandering around with stuffed animals. Okay, where their significant other is carrying a stuffed animal far larger than the person who probably owns it. I've only won from one of those once, and I ended up using it as a pillow for a while. But, so there's all that stuff going on. There's displays of the military equipment just because people want an up-close and personal look at some of the stuff that gets used. This one went in the back. So, there's lots of cool displays. Yes, you did, Uncool Dude. You did, Uncool Dude. I am a Calgarian. Very, very proud to not live in the core during that period, because it makes getting down there a bit of a nightmare. But I actually quite enjoy it. Let's start with the one that has a sticker. Sticker. Yeah. So we did actually run the Stampede this year. There were concerns about whether or not it was going to proceed, given the water main problems we had. But thankfully they got the repairs done in time, and were able to reduce the usage enough that, like in other areas of the city and people were able to do it, enough that the Stampede was able to be held and had record numbers through the gates, which is interesting because there's a lot of like potable water uses there. Everything from food trucks to cool spray centers and heat waves, that kind of thing. Yeah, they put those up too. Moved to the US in 2001. Family's still there. Ooh, expat Canuck. Uncool Dude just became cool. Either that or he's uncool now because he's living far enough that he's in a hot zone compared. Just go jump in the boat river. Weirdly enough, actually people did. They had to put out no swimming warnings. Yeah. But the Elbow River is right down basically on the grounds. So there's a lot of that going on as well. Huh, it's a printed clock. I know it sounds cheesy to be excited by that. It's got like a little red hand and two black ones. I'm actually quite impressed because frequently when you get a clock, the label or the sticker is so simple that I would expect it to be a sticker, but it wasn't. I do have the sticker sheet in front of me and I was wondering if something was missing. Yeah. You're working on the Secret Project. Yes. I have heard that on the Dadcraft Java server, there are quite a number of various different projects going on. Things are happening far faster than I can really comprehend over there in terms of some of the areas between shopping and other things going on, that I've opted at the moment to keep my head down, squirrel, and this is part of why I don't intend to be antisocial on the server, but I'm just not very good at being social on the server because I squirrel enough that I don't feel that I have stuff to contribute in a lot of cases, like stuff, but also that every moment I spend on the community projects gets me even further behind on the personal stuff, and I can't even keep track of it all. Like, I actually tried reading through a little bit last night of the text logs for my Minecraft launch, because by using an alternate launcher, I use Prism, or you can use Multi-MC. I think there's a third one in that family. They're all offshoots of like forks of the program. Anyway, by using that alternative launcher, I get access to just logs of how the program's running, and it does include little flags that say it's chat. Have a good day, Mama Bear, and good weekend. I'll see you guys next week. So anyways, where I was going with that, so I jumped ahead. So I hear about all these projects, and I was trying to read through the chat last night to see, okay, what am I missing? What are people chatting about? And attempt to work on a little bit of people's notes. That sounds dumb, but we've talked about this a little bit. I'm slowly making some notes. It's a bit of a mess on papers right now, but notes on who said, who has what that they've discussed, who owns what in terms of community resources or various shops or whatever. And so that when I need something I don't have, I know who to ask, so I can stay polite. I mean, it's one thing if you quote-unquote borrow something because that person wasn't around to be asked, and then you leave diamonds or something that you seem to perceive they need. But in trying to catch up, holy moly, I was behind before I left for my trip to the coast, and it just got worse since I got back. I'm really curious. This appears to be potentially a Weasley's office because we had Arthur Weasley go in. There's a lot of really bizarre stuff. I understand why they did Arthur Weasley's office. I mean, how could you not? And yet at the same time, there's so much random flotsam and jetsam in here. I'm kind of like, okay, I think it was an excuse just to put random junk in a room. We had a Ghetto Blaster piece, which is both printed and molded. Actually, it's kind of neat. Here, let me pull this one off. I'll leave the fork on it. But this one, I think it's a classic 80s Ghetto Blaster with a tape deck in the center. And some slider switches at the bottom. Well, press button switches, I guess, at the bottom. But there's actually, like, texture to it. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but where it sort of starts to get light in the center of the speakers, the circles. That's actually like a high top style cross-hatching grid. So that's actually a fairly neat piece to be molded that detailed. Anyway, we've got some random stuff, like jars and things, and a fork, and on the desk we built, we had tea mug, I can follow. Teapot, I can follow. So far, so good. Baby bottle, I don't understand. Even for Arthur Weasley, there's nobody in his family that's that young. Maybe it's meant to represent a water bottle for adults, I guess, but if that's the case, Minecraft do better. Hey, it's not sitting well on here. Somehow it popped. Oh, that's my fault. Let's put this back. I put the panel on, centered on the pillar, when I should have put it off to the side. Otherwise it doesn't fit. Come on. Oh, now it's sliding. There we go. Okay. Now I made it fit. And we've got an office chair. This one. But yes, you did hear about the Stampede. So I was saying, Uncle Dude, that we've got record numbers this year. Or had gone through record numbers this year. I was kind of glad I was not here at the time. It can be very chaotic. And people in parts of the US where it's also logical reasons to have ruralness for farming, cattle, or farming and ranching and so forth, can understand this, that it can be a little bit overwhelming and kind of annoying to have city folk who normally dress in other outfits attempting to be, I don't know, cool by dressing Western. It's like, if anybody has seen Back to the Future 3, it's not quite that bad, but there are a lot of people that should not be wearing Western clothing. And there's a lot of quote-unquote Western designs, yes, you got the air quotes, that jeggings should not exist. In other parts of the world, they seem to have died out, but when Stampede Week comes around, they're back with a vengeance. I'm going to show you this. This is cool. We have, for Arthur Weasley specifically, you can see this, we have ourselves a little rubber duck. And for those that are aware of my absolute favorite line used in the movies, particularly because of Mark's delivery of it, was Arthur Weasley sitting down to breakfast and asking Harry, what is the function of a rubber duck. Harry looking quite puzzled before he gets cut off by, I don't know if it's Mrs. Weasley asking for more dinner, or asking if he wants more breakfast or something. But in any case, he gets asked, what is the function of a rubber duck? I would love to have more rubber ducks in LEGO. Thank you, Uncool Dude. You and I are exactly on the same page. To a T. Now, I will say, I use similar fabrics. Stretchy stuff, spandex, lycra, yada yada yada. Yes, I own yoga pants. Okay, I do clearly not have the figure for yoga pants, which is why they are the around-the-house stuff that I wear when I need something comfy, but I do not go out of the house in them. So, for example, I had them on yesterday, and yes, there was a reason, but I had them on yesterday, and then when it turned out I would have to go for a medication refill, I knew I'd have to. I was debating, do I change clothes, or do I phone and see if I can just ask Fantastic Sherlock Fox to pick it up, because I did not need to have any, I had no other reason to leave the house. And that was not because of the pants that I had to pick it up, it was just I had no other reason to leave the house, so why do that? So this is the third floor of that side of the ministry. We now have done both sides of the floor, so I'm assuming we're going to start doing the arch that goes across the center. Now on this side, we've got Arthur Weasley's crazy office on the top. I'm assuming, oh, now that I think about it, now I know why it's falling over. Okay. This is a reference to the Department of Mysteries, which I believe is where all of the prophecies are housed. So in the movies, you see shelves and shelves and shelves of they look like remember-alls, but they have prophecies inside. And the only person who can pick it up is the person who the prophecy belongs to. And so in the movie part of it, but as they're running through and fighting, I can't remember if it's Hermione that does it or someone else from an explosion, but they cause the shelves to start falling over as they're running through. By magic, they cause them to fall over. Okay. My light is constantly adjusting because, for some reason, it seems to have stuck on the sensors on the side of my lamp, or my overhead lights. Overhead isn't the word. Light bars for my monitors have sensors on them that try to adjust the light appropriately for the activity I'm doing, but the two bars disagree with each other. So now it looks like I have one light on this side and nothing on that side over there. Let's turn this. Hey, I got it to. Oh, there we go. I got it to go off. Let's see if we can turn this up a little bit. Maybe. There we go. We're back at business. All right. That's pretty bright, but I'd have to go even brighter and then go around the end. So let's just leave it as it is. Bag 7. And we're only 11:46. That's not bad. We'll see how the timings go on this last bag, because it doesn't sound that complicated. All right. This one. While I am ripping these bags, the little bags, what is it that Marble Jade calls them? Baby bags? I don't know. Bag babies? They're different strengths of plastic. So, okay, come on. Go. So the tinier one that I just opened, this one here, has very weak plastic. It's not quite like, I could say cellophane, but that's all. Yeah, it's not quite like plastic wrap, but it's not that far off. Maybe close to the reusable plastic wraps. This one's probably about 2 or 3 times that in terms of durability, I would say. And then we've got the big bags, which are stronger still. Okay. This long-haired dude, I believe, is supposed to be the Minister of Magic during this period, which is post-fudge, I think. That sounds weird, but we had Barty Crouch and his son. I'm trying to remember. Legs. There we go. I don't know how well this is going to show once again because we've got all kinds of weird light going on. This guy's suit is gray, but it's also striped, so I don't think the color is going to show. But on the front and the back, in addition to the darker details you guys can see there, there's also a lot of light blue pinstriping. I find that really interesting. And then he's got a little M on his tie. This little gold M, you can just barely see. You can see the light bouncing off some of the striping details. There we go. With little gold buttons down his vest. Kind of interesting. I half expected this guy to have like a watch chain or something, but he doesn't. Not that that's a part of the story per se, but just a suit like that. Okay, 2, 3, 4. He's supposed to have a face. I'm trying to figure out where the face got to. There it is, right under my nose. Does he have... Alright, so the guy's older, because they've given him wrinkles. Got a funky goatee. Nice little goatee there. And then on the back side, it's just, yeah. I don't know. Zooming is not my camera's ability today, or focusing. Better focused on the table than on my hands. Alright. And he's got long hair. So he's one of the nicer Ministers of Magic, because by movie 6, I think, you see, they both do it. Excuse my reach again, guys. Yeah, let's do it one more time. Let's turn up the light. I think that's reasonable. Okay, let's go with it. Okay, so he's got a suitcase, and they're putting something in the suitcase this time. Hard to tell. I don't think this one is printed, but I don't know why you would put something in there that isn't printed. Oh, okay. The reason I couldn't tell, I'm going to try and show this one. I don't know if I can. I can. You're not going to see much. Reflections aside, maybe. Oh, okay. It's a clear piece with like an hourglass shape printed in the middle. I would love to show it better, but it's difficult. Maybe with the black background of the suitcase, maybe. You can sort of see it there. It's a time turner, basically. It's a time turner, which is a reuse, I believe, of a tile from earlier in the series, which would be, I believe, the Serious Escape set, when the Ministry approved a time turner for Hermione, because she decided that as a Muggle-born, she wanted to learn everything she possibly could about the wizarding world, ostensibly to fit in properly, from what I hear. Did not work, clearly, the whole fitting in business. But she wanted to take every class in her year at Hogwarts, which did not actually work very well. Because, of course, she had, how shall we put it? Philosophical disagreements with some of the professors. We see in the third book, I believe, with Prisoner of Azkaban, that she has, enough of a philosophical disagreement with Sybil Trelawney, that for Professor Trelawney, that she drops Professor Trelawney's class on the spot. Okay, so we've got a couple of the helicopter containers. Somebody else will have to correct me for what the official meaning was. Hello, Poodle. How are you feeling today? I hope things are still looking better than they were the day before. So yeah, Hermione drops the divination class. Can't really blame her. I kinda wish that the teacher wasn't quite so kooky. It sounds funny, but one of the things my brain keeps working on, off and on, and has for years, even since I read the book, was looking for solutions, right? As in, how could Hogwarts have actually had a half-decent divination teacher? Or what could she have half-decently covered, given that her skill was quite sus? And I think that in the story, the author did a decent job of, well, for one, making the character sus, but two, sorry, I'll just show these off. So these would be, my son was asking about them, and the only explanation that I had heard for these things is that in the Ministry of Magic, you get a lot of messages flying around as little airplanes, basically. And so what if you need to send a thing, a sample, a small, maybe small bit of money to pay for something, whatever. So I'd heard that the helicopter canisters were the excuse. I don't know, works for me. Why not? Okay, so we're going to leave those aside along with the minister. What do they call him this time? That's the reason I can't remember. It's... So apparently this guy is Pius Thickness. One of the senior staff, I suppose. I don't remember if he was actually named as the minister or not. Okay. And I just promptly dropped him on the floor. Must retrieve. There we go. Okay. If I drop somebody on the floor, I have to get them right away, because if I adjust in my chair, I don't know if I'm going to roll over them. Alright, so we're now making the messages fly. Little guys I just showed you. With a clear circular base. You went back. So you went back to the doctor yesterday, but today is better. Well, I'm glad to hear that today is better. I do think about you quite a bit and hope that things are improving. Because I recognize that aside from the community, people say, oh, well, Poodle's not streaming and she's just resting up. But I know there's an awful lot more going on at your place than just resting up. There's plenty of things going on in your world that just do not stop. One thing that makes me think about is one of the other streamers I watch on occasion, used to watch them more, but one of the other streamers I used to watch is, they work on a cattle farm, and during calving season, it's a non-stop, round-the-clock, spell off with other people in your family job to keep checking on things, because you never know if there could be complications. Or in planting season, you just go, because you don't have all that much time to do things. Okay. Oh, this is a really weird piece. Okay. So, anyway. You're breathing better today. That's good for sure. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, breathing is not overrated in the slightest. So these cones do have a bit of a Technic crosshatch to them. I don't really think about that, but some of the cone designs do and some of them don't. So when I first put it on, I didn't think about it. But this one is holding a red section. It starts to look like a Star Wars lightsaber to begin with. And then it's going to become something else. Oops, wrong way. That one had a stop. This one does not have a stop, so I could guess on length. Great. So we'll find out how much longer it needs to be. Shorter once we get rolling, I suppose. So yeah. I can't remember where I was going. That's okay. It probably was not important, because if it was important, I wouldn't have forgotten. Well, that's not true. I can pretend that. How about the if it's important, it'll come back to me? We'll go with that. Okay. This one needs to go on the other side, so I need to repeat what I've got. There it is. 2, 3, 4. Okay. That looks roughly the same. We'll see. Now we've got, aha. Now I know how long things need to be, because if it's too far in, then the arches don't fit. Oh, that one's not the one I need to readjust. It's the other side. I put it in backwards. Okay. One of the the negative things people have been saying about this set is that the art section is not only fiddly, but it can be a little bit on the flimsy side in the way that it's built. I don't expect it to be, wonderful. It's a decorative thing. Somehow, I still got it squished too short. If I take a look at the pictures in the Lego set, they are... Oh, I have to... Okay, never mind. I have to have it that short, because I'm supposed to squish that one in all the way. Maybe? Get the right length. And more or less, go with that. I'm not expecting it to be anything more than decorative, so I don't know why it really matters. It's not like you're looking for a handle to pick the set up. And if you are looking for playability of that nature, this set is not for you. Anyhow, this one, I blanked for a second there on what I was supposed to be doing, and the train of thought, oh, no. Maybe it's something to do with Uncool Dude's secret projects, I guess. The Skunk Works has arrived. So yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's funny. Every Thursday I tell myself, oh yeah, I'm going to get so much done on the server on the weekend. We'll be so prepped for all the projects next week. And it never happens. And I was going to say because Delenn, but no, it's not. Not entirely. It's that I actually choose to follow my own advice and spend the time with the family. So I do get some Minecraft time in on occasion, but more often than not, I don't. And I'm okay with that because I'm spending time with the family. It's funny, I just realized that I'm fussy about Lego injection molding points, and yet I don't bother paying attention to which direction the Lego lettering is pointing. I guess that makes the other part kind of silly. You don't want to see me groove, but this song that I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce, it's an instrumental version. Yeah. From an album called Cumbia Connection, and it's definitely not in English as a title. And the artist is not in English either. But it looks like it's a question as a title, or as an artist title. I don't know. That's interesting. Let's see, can I do this? Do I have this one functioning? Oh, I guess I don't. Okay, I thought I had a now playing button, but now playing does not, I don't have a last played button. This one is actually pronounceable. And I do quite like it, but it's called More Than Yesterday. And it's from an artist who I've heard said as Daniel Cade, but they're Swedish, so it doesn't necessarily mean I am getting it correct. However, one of the things I find I'm going to loop back to something I said earlier, is one of the things I find interesting about having a service like this is we're finding songwriters I didn't know, songwriters and artists that I didn't know existed. But the twist on that is also that it brings home the fact that for some artists, if they want to get really, really big internationally, they need to anglicize? No, that's not the word. I want to say Americanize, but that's not really the word that I'm looking for. But they need to be recognizable in a Western market, and frequently will use pseudonyms or stage names for their work in order to become more popular. I think there's also a greater choice in parts of Europe to use pseudonyms as a bit of maintaining one's privacy, because unless you're some sort of major rock star or something, they can do that. I mean, privacy is a much bigger deal over there than it is in the US. And it's not that people don't want to be private in North America. It's just that our laws aren't as stringent about maintaining people's privacy. And we're not just talking about identity theft and so forth, but even what laws are surrounding what you can and can't ask people and what you can and can't corporate monitor and so on. There's a bunch of crazy rules that are different. But where I was going with it was to note that over here, having a pseudonym sometimes seems like a formality that doesn't actually work. Whereas overseas, if you use a pseudonym for something, it generally sticks. But yeah, there's a neat video I saw, actually, about artists that are not originally American English speaking. Doesn't mean they didn't speak English, but that they basically would have an accent. But if they want to sell well in a US market, they actually have changed how they pronounce pronounce for the purposes of singing certain words. So, like certain words, certain vowels. So there's an American way of singing things. And one of the things you wouldn't necessarily think about it, because some artists just didn't care and they just sang whatever. Like in the UK, frequently, the way a UK artist will sing is not necessarily as obviously different to Americans. If you're a vocal linguist, of course, it would be. And that's where this whole video I was watching came from. But there's also, like they will change things. And that's part of why people sing differently than they speak. I think of a good example. Country artists. That's probably a good one. So if some people, when they speak, they don't sound like they have a southern twang, drawl, even a Canadian version thereof. They don't seem to have those sorts of elements when they speak. But when they sing, it comes out in abundance. And that's frequently either they've tried really hard to erase it from their speech, or they intentionally add it in their singing because it sells better in the genre they want to sell it. Shania Twain is one that's a good example of that one, I would say. Pretty sure she's changed it up a few times. So when she did a song called Up, that was meant to be a crossover genre piece, to get more into pop music rather than folk, just country, she erased or pronounced things differently so that she could erase more of the twang that you might have heard in some of her earlier work. And I'm not sure what I think of that. There's other ones. I wish I could think of names. I'm really bad with that. Yeah, because I keep thinking like Meghan Trainor, but that's wrong too. Totally wrong informationally. I don't want to go there. What's his name? I think of one off the top of my head. As I said, I'm bad with names and faces. So I get a face going, oh yeah, that's what I want to talk about. And yeah, doesn't help. And, the guy who sings that song, that does the thing. But anyways, yeah, if you get a chance though, take a look on YouTube. I might even see if I can dig up the link and post it if I remember. That's it wasn't critical, but it's the if I remember thing. But it gives some really good examples, and they don't actually play from the original song for copyright reasons, because wanting to get copyright claimed is not on any creator's list. But they do reference this song, and sometimes they'll tell you the line, or the person doing the video would sing the line to show what they mean. So as in where the person's from would sound one way, and then where but how it sounds when they actually sing it comes out a little different. And it's a neat It's a neat exploration of language. I know I've talked about it before, but it blows me away. One of the reminders I had about that is how some people will switch accents in the way that they speak or talk for business purposes, like, for example, actors. You have to change that. But there are a few of them that people don't even... You do it for so long for, say, a very popular TV show, or don't do a whole lot of publicity for popular movies, and people don't necessarily realize that you're from where you're from. Russell Crowe is one who frequently gets tagged wrong. People recognize he's not American, but that's as far as it usually gets in terms of correctness. I remember Hugh Jackman is another one that people often think is American, but isn't. The one I was watching about yesterday was people often think that Hugh Laurie is American after hearing him do 8 years of House MD, but he's not. And he's done other American stuff, so he's totally not. And what's funny is I've seen comments from people that talk about they saw House for so many years, then they watched some of Hugh's older stuff that he did prior to that. And we're not talking Blackadder, because that was way over the top and the accent could have been faked, and it was. But we're talking about things like Jeeves and Wooster, for example, where he plays a character called Bertie Wooster alongside Stephen Fry's Jeeves butler type character. And if you listen to that, that's far more similar to his natural accent. Like, you hear interviews from him on I said it earlier, what's it called now? Graham Norton Show, for example. And people don't realize that's his real accent, which is actually a bit of a higher level range. And am I missing a piece? This doesn't feel right. No? Okay. But he's a bit of a higher level voice range, so it doesn't sound the same. Okay, this is not... That's because I didn't follow the instructions. Looking at the pictures, not following the instructions. Alright. So anyway, that's one where people just did not realize for the longest time. But I'd heard some of the other stuff first, and part of the reason I wanted to watch House was because it had Hugh Laurie in it. Knowing that he's British. I was kind of curious how his American would sound. And he's actually quite good at it. There's a number of other ones, though, that work as well. I mean, it goes both directions. The difficulty with just about any situation, though, is it's not just an American accent, right? We all know that. It's not just a British accent. We all know that. That's fair. I'm watching the clock a little bit, but that's fair. You know, we all know that those aren't accents. But sometimes, to have a particular type of character, the actors have to put out a particular region of accent. And every once in a while, they cross over and it doesn't work. One example of that would be, I believe there was, in my recommended, I didn't watch the clip because I didn't need to, but I believe there was a Doctor Who episode? There we go, that's better. A Doctor Who episode that involved a character supposedly being American, and she talked in two different accents, which was fine, except that they had been put in one scene. They actually accidentally got put back to back, and that's when you know there's a problem. People say, how good so-and-so is doing in a British accent, or how good so-and-so is doing in an American accent. You know, that sort of commentary you hear a lot from people like, or about actors like Renee Zellweger when they do work across the pond. And those that haven't seen them outside of their work elsewhere wouldn't know what their nationality is. to me, I find that very amusing, because the actors and actresses who do that work frequently are not satisfied with the level of their abilities. Some people say it's so easy to pick up an accent. You can, but really all it is a messed up version of the way you were taught to speak growing up. Or, let me correct that. Taught to speak isn't necessarily the best descriptor, because everybody's speech, no matter what region we're from, what history we're from, someone kindly put it, we're all a mishmash of our life experiences. And the reality is we are all parrots to some extent. You know, even as a child, we parrot other sounds until we get the reaction we are looking for, usually. Some reactions are just like, it's a reaction. So in some situations, all you want is a reaction. So whether your kid says mama first or dada first or, I don't know, Penelope, is often coming down to, okay, what set of crazy noises did they actually happen to make in conjunction, usually more than once, and we called it a word. And there's different people over the years that I've met, frequently through scouting, for whom I honest to goodness believe that they would actually probably, even myself included actually, we probably would have better diction, speaking methods, or crisper pronunciation, easier to understand, better elocution. I don't know, you pick up whatever word you want. If our teachers and parents had not settled for the way that we speak. So, for example, there's one or two people I deal with in the scouting part who have a bit of a lisp, and it's not a formation, like a mouth formation thing. They actually, when I watch them, yes, I am that person, but when I watch them while they're talking, they form the word differently in their mouth than I would expect. Good choice to move Geek Out along. Two celebrities who are outspoken. Oh, environmentalists. Well, okay, that's one I have not seen come up. That's not a recent addition. Algorithms have not picked it. Emma Watson, for sure, because she was talking about not just supporting women, but she wants people to be environmentally friendly. I didn't know that about you, Mike, at all. Hope you're okay with sharing that. Some people feel uncomfortable about that. I can follow that, but that's one, Mike, where there's a formation issue, right? Like, as in you would pronounce things one way, and then without that element, you would pronounce things like it would be different, but your mouth attempt to form the word is the same. Part of what attracted my attention to it is noting, did I do this twice? Oh, okay. Is noticing that, for example, my daughter had a crib in her mouth for a while. Which basically you get the same effect or I shouldn't say same, but similar effect to your speech as you would if you are, where's the 2x? There we go. Oh, okay. I gotta build that whole thing 2 times. Right, okay. So you'd have a similar effect to your mouth as if you've got braces, right? That's what that does. So in that case, she had a bit of a lisp, and then I was curious to notice how much of it stuck around. Hers wasn't very strong, so for a lot of it, she was very, very understandable. Some people, when they get braces or similar appliances or whatever, you really can't understand them very well for a while till they relearn how to form words in such a way that it comes out as intelligible. And that's kind of goes to my original point about learning and responses. People stop asking you to repeat yourself, or people stop noting that you've got a bit of a lisp, or as parents, some people say, I've got something stuck in your teeth. And it's like, no, I'm wearing my whatever it is. Mine are chipping. my front teeth are chipping. It's my own fault. Anyway, but I just found it neat. Some of these people at Scouting, they actually form the word differently than I would. It's a weird thing I do, I guess. The sensation thing. So as in, kind of when people lip sync to songs for kicks. For some people lip sync in a way the words if they're reading. I'm not a reader one that does that. But so you can almost get a feel for it. And I've known one or two people, I don't do it myself, but I've known one or two people in the past who almost lip sync form words along with television programs or YouTube stuff when they can see the faces. Only in times when the television or whatever has been muted, so when the volume's been turned off, and by that they know what the words were. I don't quite get that. It's like a sensation-based hearing of sorts. Anyway, so I can do that a little bit. And so when this individual, for example, would be talking, I noticed the lisp because they would form the word differently than I would be used to seeing from other people when they say the same word. So their tongue's in a different spot or something like that. And occasionally I kind of go, okay, well, how would they have learned to do it that way? And this particular individual, as far as I know, has never had braces or anything like that. But they still form it differently. And in their particular case, the one I'm thinking of, it really is a matter of parents being really freeform and letting them say things however they want, because all three kids in the family, in that particular instance, all three of them speak very differently, and none of them speak quite like their parents. It's not better or worse than their parents, it's all different. Which is funny because many kids, many families, parents and kids, it's not just turns of phrase, but the way a word is pronounced is picked up as well. It's a learned thing. Right. Oh, they do want me to put those weird floaty things on the... Okay. 1, 2, there's one copter. 1, 2, here's the other one. Yeah, it's just odd to me, I guess. We pick up things from our parents, and some people pronounce things like their parents do. A lot of people do. And it's sort of a speech version, I guess you could say, of when people refer to pets. And they say, oh yeah, that dog does kind of look like the family, or that dog belongs with that family, because you can tell some dogs and people look alike in a weird way, even if they're not intending to. As in, people don't choose their dogs for that. Oh, right. This way. And I am very confused. I clearly did not follow the instructions for some stuff, because there are pieces in this particular batch that I did not use at all. Okay, I know I have another one of the envelope flyers to do. That's clear. That's easy. I know I've got a spare time turner because that's a printed part. That's fair. I've got spare Technic pins. I'm not quite sure why. Let's back it up a little bit. Obviously I missed something. Looking at the boxes now. Oh, I didn't do the lamp. Well, that would be part of it. Okay, so this one and one of the handle pieces. Come on. Snap on. Snap on. Thank you. Okay. There's the lamp in the back next to the typewriter. Okay, I can handle that. Okay, I've used 4 pins. They gave me 7. Oops, I don't do the ones. Okay. So I'm kind of curious. If the pins are spare, that's fine. Rotor is spare, that's fine. Okay, I got the red one being spare. Okay, I got the gold being spare. I don't remember these gray arms. It's something I would have figured that I would remember, but I'm not seeing them. Sometimes I wish you could just look up a part and it would tell you what piece of the build it goes. Sorry, what step it goes in. That'd be nice, you know. That would be nice, but it doesn't actually work that way. This, okay. I guess there's another decorative step there. It's on top. Oh, there's more. Aha! Of course. I haven't even touched that yet. We have a sticker left. Like, why question things before you get there? That's where the arms go. That would be sensible. Okay. We're going to zoom out as much as zoom out ever works around here. Pretty. Let's try. I don't have a hole. Oops. You didn't see that. Configure. Where'd the configuration go? Again. Pretties. Configure. It hid. Okay. Somewhere else. So camera, let's take the zoom. I'm gonna have to tip it for a sec because when I zoom out, it shows shirts and such. Back. Edge. I don't have much more zoom out than that, so we'll just have to go with it. What did you... Why, computer? Just like, why? Whatever. It's like I have a messy desk thing. Okay, this one. That. All right. Hey. Couldn't find the configuration screen, then it gave it to me 4 times. Whatever. And okay, I think we're all right. Let's move. The reason I zoomed out, and yes, you see my crazy messy desk in the back there, is because they want us to build this thing. Now, the ooh is the ouch. I can move the camera, so I may have to. Oh, actually, can I? I don't even know if I can. Maybe. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this kind of close to the edge of the desk, like 2 inches or less from the edge to fall off, or it's just not gonna fit on screen. But these modules are actually weighted in such a way that they come apart very easily. That's probably where the complaint came from. So we'll be doing a bit of reaching around and dodging to make it all fit. Okay, so this needs to have, let's roll instructions back. So, trying to get to snap on. 1, 2. So, I understand modular, so you can put the offices themselves in whatever order you like, aside from the bases, but this is kind of silly. Because it really does. Now I understand why they're saying flimsy. So you guys have seen the tops of the modules. They don't have very many studs. Okay, so we've got this. Can I make it all fit? Sort of. Let's not knock it off the desk. I'm just gonna reach. Yeah, reach arounds. This one. This one. Okay, so now that we're there, finally, it wants me to try and put a sticker on the banner. Do that. Oh, whoops. But thankfully it's the last sticker, so I don't care that that swung. Now, being as the model is meant to be viewed on both sides, I'm kind of disappointed that the is only on one side, but I don't need a whole second set of stickers, so I'm not going to bother asking for it at LEGO. Let's see. Can I do this down here? Yeah. Maybe. Or I got a fingerprint on it. Oh, okay. So one side's got the injection spots and the other one does not. So let's go backwards. We're going to go this way. Wow. From the angle I'm looking at it, I've got those monitor bar lights giving me all kinds of reflections. Oops, no bubbles, no bubbles, no bubbles. Okay. Can I get there before it sticks? There we go. Nope, not quite. It's gonna have lots of curves in it. Yeah, wrinkles. Oh well. It's a flag. Since when is a flag flat? Okay, I will show you this one up close because the glare reflection that we're getting is not helpful. So this one, you can see it's got actually quite a different golden pattern to it, not the white glare we were seeing. And then it's got 2 of the 3 robotic arms to hang it from the central pillar on the arch. And that whole crossbeam we built first, that weird one I couldn't find the right length of, is only holding a flag. Not sure what I think of that. And the flag actually like swings. Swing hang? Maybe go down, maybe? Yeah, it's like I can do that with it. Alright. Oh, and then 2 more pins. Okay, so this is one of those way modular things that have Technic pins on the bottom. Because they can, I suppose. The flag does look pretty cool. I actually like the logo for the Ministry badge, just a big M with a wand in the middle. The somewhere I've got one of the Mac USA ones for the Fantastic Beasts set, which actually I have to talk to Fantastic Sherlock Fox about that too. There's one set I was working on that I may have found a lead on a complete version, which would be better than wasting my time on the other parts. Okay. So it says we're done. Let's bring everybody back into view. And so we've got a Dementor. I'm going to give us the overhead shot on this one. Oh, the Dementor who falls over. He's supposedly supposed to stick his arm out like that. But they've got him pinned onto, thankfully, the top of the telephone booth. But that will help. And he's also opposite-handed compared to what I just did. How do you fit on the telephone booth? Oh! Very carefully, apparently? That doesn't fit. It's a weird cutout shape I have never seen before. What is there? It's... oh. Weird. Okay, well. Want to be right-handed, you can... or left-handed, you can be left-handed. Fine. See if I care. I don't even know why you got a spell in the first place. Oh, I see. Okay, that's supposed to represent his kiss, I guess. Or maybe it's the soul he's sucking out. I'm not really sure. Okay, so we got Dementor on a telephone booth. And then we've... what have we got? We've got the fountain. And yes, I know it's not quite the same, but that's fine. Let's move this back just a touch. There we go. Just so I don't knock it off the desk. Okay, and then we've got our Ministry messages flying around. I'm just putting them wherever I feel like, because I'm not doing the picture thing. Just make sure I'm not missing everybody. Don't ask me to label them. Again, I'm not very good at that. Let's see, we've got this one. And then there's Ron as his alter ego. I drop him on the floor. Okay, and then we've got... we know this one. That's Dolores Umbridge. And I'll give you one quick shot from this angle of the back. I'm just going to put all the characters down first, and then we'll scrape them off. Hope they don't hit the floor too hard. I swear, this guy is totally from Fantastic Beasts as well. Probably a reuse of the face. I'm not entirely sure. And then we've got 2 more characters. There's the long-haired Thickness. Sorry. Some of the titles. Okay. And Arthur Weasley. Down by my hair. And then we've just got a cat. Somebody's Patronus. I don't know whose Patronus was a cat. Alright, so now, just to show you the back of these. Put this junk off. Somebody was supposed to have a Slytherin locket thing and it fell off their hand, so I don't know who that is, so I'll figure that out later. Okay, and the back. Maybe, kinda. Ooh! Is not staying up at the same angle. Back. So we've got the 1 Ministry Tower. You can see Umbridge's office at the top, the Wizengamot at the middle, and then I believe that's supposed to be part of the offices for the Wizard Daily Prophet newspaper. Yeah, this does not turn well. I may end up having to 3D print a Lazy Susan for this one, I think. Just to be able to see the back. So we've got the other side. We've got Arthur's really crazy office with his duck. Can I have a duck, Mom? The inside story to that. Okay, and then you've got your Department of Mysteries and the bottom part of the functioning element of the Daily Prophet office. All right, so we have got this one done and dusted. Now, we had 25 minutes. I have a couple options. We can launch into the bird nest set, which is nice and small. Or I've got brickheads that we can just use up. So I would like to save the Alice in Wonderland book, which I know Fox has voted for. I would like to save that for next week. Potentially, just so I don't get started on it, not be able to finish, and then run into challenges based on whatever we choose to do for our activities, like if our family's staying or going or whatever. So just give me a quick BRB, and I will come back with a small set just to finish out the window. Oops. All right, we're back. So just briefly, we're going to throw together the bird's nest. Now, this one is fairly small set, 232 pieces, so we should be able to rock and roll this fairly quickly. Oops, and I totally got the desk all messed up. And yeah, we have a big mess in the corner. I'm going to just rock and roll with instructions in the box. Could go look them up online, but it's probably not worth it at this point. Thirds, yay! Actually, maybe, did I go... Let me just see if I've already downloaded them. No, I did not. Okay. That's fine. So we'll just go with the box. I'll probably throw it in the corner and then we can get rid of the picture. Oh, nope. Let's put that up. There. Do that, and then we can turn off the picture on this other side. There we go. All right, so there's only some little tiny bags here. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So bag one. Let's do that. Like, where do I want to put this? So I can see it without you guys getting glared. Let's set it right up here. I know it's not ideal angles-wise, even for me. Have it over there? No. I'm just trying to make sure I can see it. There we go, that'll do. Bag one. There for now. And we're building what looks to be basically a robin, I believe. And there's not much sorting for this. That was bag one, right? It's not. This is also bag one. So I'm not used to them not being packaged together, but it is what it is. Okay. There we go. Bag one, step one. They are cute! Yeah, oh, I guess I should change that. Box may be busy. So this would be... 406339. Oh, might help if I actually change that. Highlight. Delete. Excuse me, I'm just changing titles. 39. Bird. Nest. Oh, capitalization. See, this is what editors do. And done. It's not giving me a fresh go live. All right. So we're starting here and we're working on the robin. Right up against. I like that the robin has a bit of a this white section appears to be a perching landing of sorts. You'll have to let me know if the brightness is up too high, because I was mucking with it a little bit to try and compensate for the fact that I didn't have instructions in the corner of the screen and such. And it may have gone a little bit kawonky-loo. Seems good? Okay, great. One of the things that I've discovered the other day was that my computer does not sensibly apply... Yeah, that's the word. Does not sensibly apply the high dynamic range settings. So things can be kind of crazy and don't always make sense in the way that the computer uses them. For example, last night I was trying to play Minecraft remotely, like as in remoted into my computer. As this is a GWP, right? Yeah, so definitely a gift with purchase that was, as far as he's aware, the only available through Toys R Us in Canada. Edit that. Go break. B, W, P. Oh, so anyways, it was oversaturating everything. And I had to turn off high dynamic range to make it look remotely fine, which is great, but now I'm seeing strange things at this end. What I see and what projects and what gets sent out to other people isn't always the same thing. So sometimes it just doesn't help to fiddle with things. And as I'm learning, set and forget on OBS is never set and forget for me. Dadcraft was talking about that last night on stream. Was it last night or the night before? One of the two. Talking about how there's things that he's set and then never really had to return to again, and then eventually you got a problem and you got to figure out what's going on. But mine just shift on me for no reason. So, yeah. Alright. You guys didn't see any of that, did you? Come on. See? Things change for no reason. Properties. Configure. Focus. Apply. Focus. Apply. Sure. I'll take that. Whatever. Alright, so. There's things that don't always make sense. I reached up to try and scroll my instructions. Nah, not so much. So, apologies for looking down so much in this one. I am not entirely sure what some of these instructions are. But yeah, so it's just not set and forget. And OBS actually has some great things that I love about the program, and some annoying things. Well, yes, there's still Toys R Us in Canada. It's becoming its own separate thing. You're sad now, but on the other hand, Mike, I believe you guys had Sears Roebuck or whatever, and ours has gone the way of the dodo. We do not have a Sears Roebuck. Did I do that wrong? Okay. Nope. There it is. So yeah, some companies work well, some companies don't. Toys R Us is still here, but it's evolving. Now it includes an HMV mini stores, which offer tons of cool nostalgia for adults. Not Sears here anymore. They took longer to disappear from the US than they did from Canada, so that's why I was confused. In Canada, I can kind of see because they had competition for years and years and years. And, I mean, not only did stuff go online, Sears for us was one of the original catalog stores. Kmart lasted far longer for you guys than they did for us as well. Okay, so we've got one. Yeah, so we still have Toys R Us. They now are merged with HMV. Now, I don't know if you guys have HMV. Up here, we also have a company that is HMV-ish. It's called Sunrise Records, and I don't know if that's a Canadian thing or not. I never really know what's a Canadian company anymore. But they are filling the slot HMV used to. And it used to be like records and stuff, and then, you know, gifts and memorabilia and whatever. But HMV stores are now, they have what's in essence a pop-up that happens in Toys R Us. So as Fox was saying, a lot of adult nostalgia, so it's kitsch that is more of a previous generation. That's also where you can buy DVDs, like the DVD release sets that we used to have to order or have a hard time getting hold of except at HMVs. But in HMVs, you know, when you go, they generally never had what you were looking for. Well, I think part of it is because things like DVD services and such, and DVD machines for the most part, have been kind of gone for so long that to bring it back now, really it's only the target demographic that wants the stuff, so your stock is still reasonably available. Also, actually, I will say Toys R Us is really good at being willing to transfer between stores. So if you want something at one location or sorry, if you want something and the location you're shopping at doesn't have it, they can try and find it for you from another one, and either will easily direct you to go get it. And that happens often if it's in the same city, or they don't have a problem transferring between cities, which I think is a model that works well. A lot of the HMVs in the past wouldn't do that for you. But I mean, it's got competition with, as we said, Sunrise Records was one, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Spencer Gifts for some of it, or EB Games, oddly enough. At least that's what they call it up in here. EB Games is, well, is/was, a physical console game location. You could buy, your Xbox games or whatever in person. But they've gone to a lot of memorabilia for various different video game related IPs and movies and stuff. So you'll find like Star Wars t-shirts and things like that at an EB Games. So the best IP for Star Wars seems to be either EB Games, or for youth in particular, it's Walmart these days. Bird D makes sense. Oh! Nope, not if I don't put your eyeball on correctly. Sort of. And birds actually do have... It's one of the most disconcerting things to be dealing with a bird that is not looking... Well, it's looking at the same thing, but it's not looking at you. The same with both eyes. Because, of course, they're on the sides of their heads, so if you get a bird that's flipping its head around quickly to look at something, it's an odd feeling when one eyeball is looking up and the other one's kind of down. I grew up with a lot of that. You end up in the back of a magician's vehicle, sometimes when you're traveling with your parent to various shows where you've lots of times to stare at the animals and see what they do. Notice behaviors and such. Alright, so now we've got the bird's head and the beak, and then it goes on the body. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is GameStop is mostly the games now. EB Games still has a good bit of games, but and you can still like pre-order a lot of stuff. They've branched into the memorabilia, and they've also gone into things like trading card games. Not hardcore in that, but they have definitely gone in that direction. This one, wrong side. Side. But yeah, we have a lot of different stuff. I mean, it's funny though, Canada's a weird one in terms of where we get, I shouldn't say discount, but affordably priced items. Like, they tried having a Target up here. We've talked about that a little bit in the past, and Target was one massive, miserable fail in Canada because its execution was one massive, miserable fail. I actually don't think the business would have disappeared as quickly had it been executed better. But the kinds of stuff we saw, for example, elements like the stock was probably the biggest issue for us, I would say. And what I mean by that is they never kept things stocked. It wasn't that they didn't hire enough staff or whatever. There was rules, from what I understand, about how corporate wanted everything to be done. And so therefore the stores were never shipped what they actually needed. So towards the end of days, when things started going on sale, we would find like Targets that it would have an entire aisle for say laundry soap and have 2 items. And it's not like a badly empty shelf. No, quite literally, the entire aisle was full of those 2 items. That's it. And I never understood that. That just, if you want your company to fail, do stuff like that. Apparently they had miserable customer service in Canada too. And I have a suspicion there may have been some, not fishy dealings, that's not where I'm going. I suspect there was some probably cost-saving measures somewhere along the line where somebody thought it would be bright to double duty the telephone customer service department. Yeah, having done tech support customer service. That's never a good idea. That's okay. Anyway, so yeah, Target did not last up here, which is sad because we still needed our discount stores. I'm trying to remember, for years it was just Walmart, and you may have heard of it. There's one up here called Superstore, or out east it's called Loblaws, owned by the Weston family. And so for a while, in Canada at least, there was a TV show. What's it called next? I can't remember, but basically it was like a cooking reality show type place where the winner was like it gave the opportunity for people to pitch their idea of what should be another food product for this Loblaws and Superstore chain. And then of course the judge was the owner of the company because it was going out under the President's Choice name because he was the president of the company. Yeah, so it was Walmart and Superstore. It was basically where you got anything and everything. 5 minutes left. We're not halfway through, so I will just go a little bit long, partly because I was late, partly because it's Friday. However, I do highly recommend, if Stream Teamers... Ooh, we got notification. What's this? Gotta make sure it's not related to... It's not my channel. I want this one. Okay, yeah. So if Bob comes live, I really do recommend that you guys check out Bobberine73. He's amazing, and do not miss that. Pardon me, but I will push through to finish the bird. Because, why not? I mean, he already looks like that. I will not do the whole nest, but I will finish the bird. Because then I can use the other half for a filler piece in with the Alice in Wonderland book. So, yada yada yada. So yeah, Canada doesn't have much for decently discount places. We're getting our Zellers back, which is a discount shop from the Hudson's Bay Company, which is very much a Canadian thing. Fairly certain that there was no real attempt to ever go US with them. But the Hudson's Bay Company, mega history. We just call it the Bay. Perfect. Please do. Okay, so I don't think I have a button for him. Okay, let's go. He's not here, but that's fine. 73, I think. Okay, so he just went live. If you're still around, feel free to give him a follow and definitely do check out his material. And as I said, I'm just going to finish off the edge of this bird and then we're out. So I don't think I'm going to be late by much. Is excellent timing. And bye. Yes, I'm not quite doing the raid yet, but it will be momentarily. I was a little bit late starting. Fell asleep after the alarm. That's not an uncommon thing. Yeah. So anyway, Bob is worth it. Worth watching. Now it's Minecraft content, so for those of you that prefer Minecraft content, definitely check Bob out. If it is Lego content, I'm afraid I don't have a regularly scheduled stream out or raid out on Friday. I do not actually follow enough Lego people to know. This is a regularly Minecraft stream, so yeah, this is my Lego break. Now we're just building up the wing on the other side. Besides, I will say I can ramble on for a while, and then eventually the train of thought leaves the station more and more frequently. So it's probably a good indicator that I should have drank more coffee. But, you know, it is what it is. I often recommend, as far as Lego shows go, the local brick shop is fantastic. As far as Lego people in general, I like Valente, but he doesn't actually stream his Lego, and he's not really reliable first streamer of late anyways, because he's trying to train for his marathons. I think he's got one coming up in September. All right, so we got ourselves the bird. Hey, we made it before the top of the hour. Woohoo! Woohoo! All right, so the next part would be a bag 2. Oh. I know how to fix that, but there we go. So we've got the bird, both sides. The next section would be starting the nest for bag 2. I think I'll hold off on that one. It's a nice top of the hour switch point. But we'll pick up next week. I believe we had, in the voting, taking a quick look at that, we had Brickheads getting nearly voted right off the table. So we'll see about doing those. I may end up just posting pictures in Discord and building them offline. The bird nest tied with the Alice in Wonderland mini book. So I think we'll do the mini book next week, and then we'll finish off the bird's nest. And then we'll have to see where we go from there, because I don't think I have anything else in storage. Yeah. So Lego is really clever how they do the bird. We at least have a piece that can sit and stand. And let us double check if there's anything else I need to do. No, I think I'm good. So we're going to start a raid over to Bob Breen. As I said, he plays Minecraft. And I will be back doing Lego on Lego. I keep thinking about lazy Lego Mondays is a concept I've been playing with, but I haven't actually done it. Because what I mean by lazy would be quite literally sorting. You know, could be my Lego, could be my kids' Lego. But I don't think I actually have the physical space to play with that here. So, yeah, not going to happen. But it keeps coming up. Anyways, what I was going to say is I will be back on Monday doing Minecraft. What project am I based in Minecraft? I'm not entirely sure yet. We shall have to see. Your guess is as good as mine. In the meantime, I wish you all the best. Have yourselves a very, very good weekend. And we will start the raid over to Bob because he deserves it. He's awesome. There we go. Tried that.
Mischief managed. Mischief managed.
Mischief was managed, and once again it managed me. Thank you everybody for watching today, and thank you for coming by. Happy Friday to you too, Poodle. And thank you for dropping by, Tiz. On the question of the day, guinea pig and rabbit person. Ooh. You need to tell me about that another time. Clue spending was done today. Okay, let's see. Fantastic Sherlock Fox, Mama Bear, and Tiz were our moderation team today. We had conversation from Mike Burton, Bob Breen, ITT Tom, Uncool Dude, and Poodle Pirate. If people were just checking out things and hanging out and lurking, that's always appreciated, never required. And I wish you all the best. Please do give Bob our best. Any tips, tricks, suggestions, you know where to throw them. And I'll see you on the flip side. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.